First, switch on the function generator. This task is to set up the function generator to generate the sine wave as shown in figure 4.1. At the start, press the sine button. In case you happen to see a period at the start, press the button again to change it back to the frequency mode. Enter the value 1 on the keypad and press kilohertz option. Next, to set up the amplitude, press the amplitude tab and enter the value 2 on the keypad. Choose voltage peak to peak option. Once you are done, press the view button to generate the waveform. Press the view button twice to get out of the graph mode. Task 2 is to use the knob and direction keys to change the frequency. In order to get a value of 2.5 kHz, turn the knob to 2, press the direction key and tune it to 5. Once that is done, try to rotate the knob to change the frequency to 25 kHz. Next, press the function button located below the amplitude tab and change the amplitude to 5 volts peak to peak. Once that is done, press the view button to change it to graph mode. Press the view button twice to get out of the graph mode. Task 3 is to set up a sine wave with period of 2 milliseconds and a peak to peak voltage of 5 volts. Press the frequency tab to change it to period. In order to obtain a 2 millisecond period, just press 2 on the keypad and choose milliseconds. And then press period again for the function gen to show you the frequency of 500 Hz. Right after, press again the view button to get the sine wave. Press the view button twice to get out of the graph mode. Task 4 is to set up the function generator to generate the square wave as shown in figure 4.5. For this, press the square button to select square wave. Now set the frequency to 5 kHz. Press the function key below the amplitude button and set the amplitude to 6 volts peak to peak. Press the function key below the duty cycle tab and set the duty cycle to 50%. Once you are done, press the view button to display the waveform. Press the view button twice to get out of the graph mode. Task 5 is to set up the function generator to generate the square wave as shown in figure 4.6. Press the square button to select square wave. Set the period to 1 millisecond is by pressing again the frequency button to the period tab. Now change it to 1 millisecond. After that, change the amplitude to 5 volts peak to peak. Press the function key below the offset and set the amplitude to 2.5. Next, press the duty cycle tab and change the duty cycle to 30%. Press the view button to display the waveform. Now we have to display a waveform on the oscilloscope. we have to set up the function generator to produce a 10 volts peak-to-peak 1 kHz sine wave. But first, we have to change it to sine wave. Change the frequency to 1 kHz. While the amplitude, change it to 10 volts peak-to-peak. Remember to change the offset back to 0 volts DC. Next, insert the BNC cable to the function generator and lock it, while the other end of the BNC cable will be locked into your oscilloscope. Once you are done, press output. Now, our objective is to display a waveform on the oscilloscope. First, switch on the oscilloscope. Next, take the BNC cable from the function generator and input to the channel 1 of the oscilloscope. By now, you will be seeing two waveforms, with the blue line being the channel 2. To switch it off, press the channel 2 button, the blue button on the oscilloscope twice to remove the line. By now, you should be seeing just one waveform belonging to channel 1. Press auto set to get a clearer view of the waveform. Task 4.2 is to measure the input signals using automatic measurement function. For this procedure, we have to find four components, which are RMS voltage, peak-to-peak voltage, period, and frequency. To obtain the RMS voltage on the oscilloscope, press the measure button. Press the first button on the oscilloscope and press the third button in the middle to select the various measurements that are available and turn the variable to the RMS voltage. Once you are done with this, press back the measure button. You will now see the VRMS being displayed. To find the peak-to-peak voltage, for now the second button, and press the third button and turn the variable to peak-to-peak. Again, when you're done, press measure. To find the period, press the third button for now and turn it to period mode. Again, press the measure button. Next, change it to frequency and turn the variable and press measure. Now you will see all the four components being displayed perfectly. Task 4.3 is to measure the input signals using cursors. Press the cursor button on the oscilloscope to bring out the lines on the oscilloscope. To change it to horizontal mode, you can press the last button and you will see two horizontal lines. But for this experiment, we are only using the vertical lines. Notice the X1 is belonging to the solid line, having a 40 microsecond. But for this case, we have to change it to 100 microseconds by turn the variable. Now we have to change the X2, which is currently the dotted line, to 300 microseconds. Press the button belonging to X2 and turn the variable 300 microseconds. When you're done, you will now notice that the voltage belonging to X1 is 2.8 volts and X2 around 4.6 volts.